KD Custom Woodworking, the fastest growing YouTube how-to, any way you want YouTube channel. Thank you, and please subscribe. All right, now I'm showing this unit. This is a wall unit, and what I've been seeing in the last few years, TVs are not getting smaller. Technology's really turned mainstream, and it's not really that expensive. So you want to design a wall unit. All right. You've seen some of the modern ones out there, a little floating shelf and TV there. The only problem is, if you get some serious audio equipment or you want to grow later, you're not going to fit it in these things, or it's going to be over and you're going to have full of wires. So on this design, what I tried to first was the size of the TV. And also, if they wanted to put a screen there later on, they could, but they wouldn't be cursing my name. On this case, I've got the room here for an 85-inch TV. All right. I'm decent in a sense. You stand here, you're a little higher than the middle. You're a little short here when you sit, if I sit down. But that's okay. I can live with that part. I didn't want to go. So now I'm like scratching my head. Okay, I gotta put speakers, I gotta put audio, PlayStations, whatever, retro, Nintendo, you name it, in these cabinets, and hide the speakers. So, and this is what I did first. Now what I have here, I've left this as one open cabinet. Ideally, I want to build my own speakers, and I want my center channel here. On this case, though, the last unit I made, I wasn't as happy with the center channels as I should have been. I spent a lot on the left and right speakers, like, you know, some people call sound stage, your two main speakers if you're new to this. But I think I got to spend a lot on the center. I got to spend more on it than I think on my front stage. All the voices are coming through there, and a lot of the streaming stuff that most people watch, a lot of the quality is just plain crap. And so you really need that to at least hear it, not have it muffled. So that's my thing here. Okay. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the towers right up here on the stage here. They're going to slide in. They're going to be part of the cabinet. And I'm going to go about a good 12 inches. These are really small. These are, you might see these in the store and you think, okay, great. But a lot of the home audio stuff, just the cabinets aren't built well. Like, if I show you what I mean, like, you can just move this like this. Like, these things aren't very solid. You might say, well, what does that have to do with it? As soon as you move that cabinet or the woofer or the speaker, you lose the frequencies of the sound. You say, well, you're a purist or whatever, and you're an audiophile. No. If you got like a lot of these movies, you got all these sound effects, everything else, you want to hold it. And I'm going to tell you something, with this speaker, if I build my own, I can do about 5 times the quality, in my opinion, for these. All right, coming up here. So now I got to leave the room here. All right, so that's all going to be my left and right. I was debating doing it down here, but I don't have enough room. All right, now, subwoofers. I want to put big ass subwoofers at the bottom here and the bottom here on both sides. So I have this matching. I haven't but I also got to give a little bit of space here, you know, because you have this low frequency coming out, and then you got the sound coming out maybe at the same time, or different frequencies. They could cancel each other. So that, you know, so leaving room here has got to be a must. Or I just go down here and just put the subwoofers, you know, pop them there, get that going. Put my plates here for the amps, And so what I'm trying to say is I'm not 100% sure at this stage. They have X amount of dollars to spend. So I got to start putting together a budget. I want to put together about $6,000 for everything. It won't include the ceiling speakers or the back speakers, but up front here, and the amp. So for the $6,000 budget, I've come up with my first is the anchors, a soundstage, the two main speakers at the front that are going to go on the left and right of the cabinet as I described. I'm not showing drawings. Now these things are little, I won't say little, but they're beasts. I mean, I got a 12-inch driver here. The cabinet's almost 16 inches across. What's great about this is you get all the instructions, everything else from Madison Sound. So they include everything, all the drivers, crossovers, and, if you have any technical things, what I liked about dealing with them, they'll answer. So you're not in the dark, especially first time out of the gate. It can be a little daunting. Now, what's really good is here's the drawings that, they're pretty straightforward. They got little braces here, which can be a little confusing for somebody. But other than that, it's, 43-inch box, basically 14 inches deep. That's great for the built-in, because I'm not sure about this brace here, if they got to port it in the back. And you can see it's carefully laid out. What's great about this kit is that it's tried and true. These are, they got some kits there that have like some serious speaker builders, in my opinion. So you won't be disappointed. They'll fill up that room with any of the low frequencies, any special effects, and of course music. Now my next thing is what I have to build is the subwoofers. I skipped over Madison only because they were a little more expensive, and I don't mean to insult them, but I am on a $6,000 budget. So I've come up Parts Express, you've probably seen that, and I've come up with these Dayton Audio. They're 15 inches, so they're going to be little beasts, and I want to put them at the bottom, but I got to be careful what I said before. I don't cancel out, but I think I can get away with it, and I think I can angle slightly, and there won't be any issue with any noise cancel. Now, the enclosure, I'm not sure. I got to double check with the box on this one, but subwoofers are a lot easier. Now, I need an amp to drive this. So there again, bypass Madison Sound. I went with this because this is a $500 subwoofer plate, but what's great about it, it's dual. It has balanced inputs, which means basically it's grounded. So that's all you have to remember, as opposed to, you go there with the RCA and, you could get interference. So it is a really audiophile product, in my opinion. It even comes with like an app here. You can really fine tune this. I mean, this is incredible. Like, if you're really jumping into audiophile and really want to get that best sound. So I'm really loving this little lamp here for $299, and it can drive those two drivers, because I'm okay with like 200 watts or even 150 watts with the subwoofer. I mean, you're not gonna, you get those things too much, and they get bounce and they shake too much. So I think I did good there. Now we got to get a processor to take those 7 channels or 5 channels, whatever you're going to use, and break it up. If I'm trying to explain this in an easy format, you've seen about the other amps, home theater, Denon, Marantz, everything else. A lot of them aren't true processors. What I mean by that, they might do 1 or 2 channels, but they're not going to do all of them. So, and then you're spending a lot on the power for these things, because they say they have 250 watts, but they're like 9 channels. A lot of them, at the end of the day, might be lucky 25, 50 watts. And for a speaker like that, you're not going to get the full speaker. It's not about loud sound, and that's where people really make the tell the difference between the two. It's more crystal clear. The best way I can describe it. Really,
it's hard to describe until you really hear it. So when you're new to this, stay away from like the Marantz and Denons and all the rest of it. You know, the only thing with this one is, if we go down, it has 4K, everything else. You're not getting 2.1. You're not getting 100 megahertz. All right, 8K is, it's so far away from us. It's not even funny in a lot of ways. It's because the amount of like video cards and things like that drive these things is insane. So we're a long way away, and we're barely scraping 4K. So don't be worried that this thing's going to be obsolete. You know, I'm thinking, well, I got to get 8K because everybody's talking about it. So I did this one. They have another one that's 3,000, but that would have blown my budget. Now the amp that's going to drive this. Remember, this is only processor. This isn't an amp. So I've decided, well, the hell with it. I'm going with this. I went to the 5-channel, so I can drive 5 speakers. I can also split the 2 front speakers, so I have 4 channels. I could dive into that a little later. So this thing, I'm not going to be disappointed. It's $1,700. It's the most expensive on the equipment, but this, I guarantee you won't be disappointed with this. All right. Now, as I said, you know, you got balance plugs here, which means basically just having it grounded so you won't have any feedback. But the only thing is, on the processor, you can't use them. But if you update the processor, the only thing with those other processors are the good ones are $4,000. So big difference between 1,000 and 4,000. So I don't think we're getting it on this trip. And you can see, you know, I mean, what's not to like about this Aptiva? They'll stand behind their name. The power supply is insane. I have the mono price myself personally, and I'm just in love with it. I didn't pick the mono price on this. They were a little better. I want the 2 products the same, but the mono price I think has a better. It's cooled better. It doesn't get as hot. So we might change over on the end. Now, last thing is the center channel. Now the center channel is the most important. I'm going to call Madison Sound on this, because I bought their kit, and I'm not. I didn't spend a lot. I spent, you know, because I put 9 speakers on our last one. So with that, I didn't spend as much as I thought on the center, and that was a big mistake. But a lot of stuff's muffled, but a lot of that has to do with the crappy compression. Like you go to Apple. Apple has good videos on 2 or 3, and same with Disney. They might have on some of their higher end movies, the more popular ones like Avatar or some of the Marvel, they might have better sound. Then on some of their TV shows, it's going to drop down. So you're all over the place on this. And sometimes you think, oh, okay, it's too bass. I don't got it. So the center channel, I can't emphasize enough. On this one, everything is here. You know, they got the drivers. I know this is Chinese. It is for me too. But here's the cabinet, a 43-inch cabinet, not too deep, rear firing. I can easily do that built in. I have a nice big hollow space, and they do all the directions. They got the graphs. I mean, some of it I don't understand at all, so I'm going to act ignorant here. And they show the cabinet, you know, he doubled up. He did what I would do. Double up your MDF. And that's the beautiful part. And I said this before. The longer you keep those drivers from moving, the amazing sound you're going to get out of them. Now, I love this speaker setup, mainly because it's just going to fill the room. I don't think it's going to break the bank too much. And I'm up to here on $400 US. They said the parts are $317. So I'm up to, let's go, Zap Audio, $1,200. Here I spent $1,000, so I'm $2,200. Here, $22. I'm up to $47. Now with the other one, I'm up to $51. So I'm up to $6,000 US, and that was bare minimum. I mean, with us, we're going to get killed in Canada with the shipping and everything else, but I think that's really to go to that next level and really get immersed, because we are putting an 85-inch TV, and you want to be like the movie theater experience. So that's my recommendation, Katie Custom Woodworking.
Now, what I got to do now is I got this big giant TV, and I'm like, wow, you walk into a room and you say, oh, gee, where's the living room? And I got this big ass TV. So now I got to make it look normal. So I'm going to start here, looking at it, and I'm looking at the columns coming here. There's going to be a bookcase on the right. I didn't do this on computer yet. All right, and I'm going to show you in a second on the CNC that I think I got a pretty cool carving. This is 8-foot ceiling. I left it about 10 inches there. I want to come down here. I want a 7-inch molding, and I want it to come out on a lip here. I want to have lights coming underneath, but I also want to have indirect lighting going on the ceiling through the rest of the room. All right, so this is so important. I could lower this if I get into trouble, because the kick plate's separate. I got almost 5 inches there. I could lower this a bit if I need a little more room there. So these are all design configurations you see. Like, I'm the first one to do it on computer. I love my computer. But for this, I wanted to see this visually. So if you're starting out with your home theater or whatever, I'm saying whatever, I mean, or a wall unit and things like that. Sometimes I get tongue-tied with this, and I apologize. And I'm being indirect, so I'm trying to cover a lot of subjects here, and I'm more or less trying to rifle it off, but not ram it down your throat, and try to speak logic. This you won't outgrow. This, if you're an audiophile, you can just do amazing things. Even if I put my center here, and I want to build tweeters or something, I see something on the internet, and I think this is going to sound cool. You can add these things. And with the right equipment, I can go up to 12, 14 channels, and I'll show you the receiver I'm eyeballing in a minute. So that's the important thing. And you won't see any speakers here whatsoever. And it wasn't that expensive to do. I went through 10 sheets of plywood. I'm up to, depending on your area, $140. I'll probably be all told $5,000 material into this. You might say, well, yeah, that's a lot. Nah, not what I'm doing. I'm doing all mahogany, everything else, and I'm trying to overestimate so you don't get sticker shock. Now let's go over here and I'll show you the column. So I'm trying to match the kitchen, and I've started it here, but I'm not happy with my design, how it's coming out. So I'm going to clean this up, but you can see here I'm a full almost 8 inches here. I want to go about 7 inches, so I made it a little wider and then trim it off after. So we'll see about that. You can add that yourself. You can go locally, see how we're doing it here, and get some custom CNC work. You can just get a smaller shop and buy their time if you want something really cool. Now this has got to blend in with the kitchen, look unique, but I don't want to have like a carbon copy, be one trick pony. Okay, this is all he makes. So I really want this unique and modern. It's in the older part of the house because there's 2 parts to the house. So we're going to come and visit this, and I'll show you when I get more of the woodwork done, and we'll see how we make out. Now I want to thank everybody for supporting our channel, and I'm going to say, I know I sound like a broken record, just I need subscribers to get going, and hopefully, I'll spend more time making channels. So I'm doing pretty good. I think this past month I've been 1 week every new video and a couple of shorts thrown in. So thank you again for visiting. Bye.